darkness of night, we live to die. We lose our souls every day. We lost our minds. We don't remember what's wrong and what's right. The world is dead, but we stay. 'Cause we are born as living fights. We live to die. We live to die. And we surrounded by the night. We live to die. We are shadows in the neon light. We are shadows in the neon light.
Order filled.
We are just shadows. It's supposed to be that we die. It doesn't matter if there is no light anymore, no light anymore. 'Cause we are born as living fights. We live to die. We live to die. And we surrounded by
Stop filled.
Yo, what's going on this morning? Oh man, I just threw a trade in for no reason. And it just bit us. Bit us. Didn't even go through our setup. What happens, guys? That's what happens. First hand experience. We gotta run through this super quick. We actually have a strategy to run through. Try and make this happen. I don't like what we're seeing there.
Order filled.
We can't even see what's going on. We're crazy, bro. Crazy. Crazy. How can you be so crazy? How can you be so crazy?
Target filled.
Let's freaking go. Alright, is this in the right spot? Cool. Is this in the right spot? Cool. These need to be moved up here for now. Move those up there for now. Okay, bring this back into the 5-minute. We're way late this morning. That is where we opened at. Cool. Drop this back down. So we can bring this back up. Then we're gonna bring this back up. Boom. Shaboom. drop us back in the Trendersons. Cool. Now we're here. We're gonna do it another time. I feel like by the time we get all this stuff in, we'll be way late. Okay. Drop that there. Drop that there. Drop that there. Drop that there. Actually, we need to bring this closer so we can actually drop it to the correct spot. Thank you. That looks good. We're gonna pop this up in here. And we're gonna drop into the 5-minute.
Order filled.
Oh, we're gonna get hit there. We're about to get hit.
Stop filled.
Oh. Oh. Bro, what are you doing? What are you doing? Finish what you're doing, dude. Finish what you're doing. Finish what you're doing. That's all I gotta do. Finish what you're doing. Then get it over here. Worry about it, right? Is it? Oh. Is it here? Bam. Bam. Not even it. Boom. Just like so. Alright, see? Let's wait for these failed entries.
Order filled.
Come on, El Fellow the Entrio. Kind of messed that up. Finish. Did we finish? Alright. Cool. We're gonna pop this up. Bring this back in here. Pop this out. We're gonna drop this over here. Like so. We can now move. Oh, no.
Stop filled.
Bro. So we just dropped here. Let's actually see what's going on here.
Order filled.
We're gonna pop that up. Can we see a runner? Can we see a runner? I want to see a runner, baby. Punchy up. Ooh, that's not looking good. That looks fine.
Stop filled.
Is there news today? New home sales. What's going on here, man? What is it? What is it? All right, well, let's chill out. Let's chill out.
Position, I will be out of my trade, because if US dollars start to recover and if we get some strong push downside for euro dollar and British pound dollar, I would not like to be on the wrong side of the market, especially in the swing trade. So I will just monitor this and move my stop loss because this is my trade. So for this part of the session, I wanted this to share.
It's gonna
with
be
you,
one of those days,
and
dude.
later I will show you
One of those days. I can tell you that right now.
the strategy. So,
Hundo
so
percento.
do you have any questions, guys, or remarks about my talk?
No, all makes perfectly sense.
Yep.
Just on my side, we just had new home sales come out, and that was rather volatile, a bit unexpected.
Might
Just
not
watching
be
the
a trading
indices on
day.
my side here. 724,000 sold. Compare forecast at 784. So we had quite a large up and down swing. So things a bit volatile on the side, yeah.
Yeah,
But
gold
what's
has
new
been
these days?
going crazy.
Do you have something to show there, Nandan?
Unfortunately, no. I missed this move on gold, man. I'm frustrated.
Is it going up again?
No, it's just completely gone down. It is.
Yeah.
It's currently.
Oh, what's going on?
I can check on my screen.
Oh, I
Gold is
flattened
currently
it.
at a 2.5% movement again, and it's just going down like a. It's just going down like a missile.
Yeah.
Let me try
I
to
want to show you
share
something
my
that
screen.
I've seen the other day as well after that. I just need to find it first. Where was it?
Okay, hopefully you can see my screen.
Order filled.
Can you guys see my screen?
Come up now. There we go.
Okay. Yeah, so in the last hour, we've moved 650 pips on gold, which is absolutely
Wow.
crazy.
Yes.
Yeah, looking at this 15-minute time frame, I was looking on potentially entering in on this 15-minute consolidation, just looking at the cycles it's been making on the 30-minute time frame. It's been moving down, kind of consolidating and pulling back, and then it makes another big move down. It's been doing that, and when I was looking at the charts, we were about right here, I think, when we started the meeting. And it's moved down oh my gosh, it just moved down almost 1,000 pips again. And actually, I've been stopped out of my original position that I had on a couple days ago, which I entered in right here, and we made this big, humongous move to the upside. So the remaining lots that I had on this position have pretty much been stopped out, which is okay because I took profit when we were, when we made our move to this area here, I believe. And unfortunately, the rest of
Target
the lots got
filled.
stopped out, but this is pretty amazing to see with gold. I mean, I love to see it. These very volatile moves. Unfortunately, I missed it. I had the chance to do it, but I got too caught up with the
Can
session.
I
But
show you something on a chart I've been working on here on the side?
yeah, of course.
And actually, kudos to someone else that I follow. Sometimes read into his stuff a little bit on YouTube. He's big into Elliott wave analysis. Very, very accurate stuff. But he was showing a little bit of a different chart here, also using market geometry, especially on gold, because he likes addressing things when everything seems a little bit dangerous, especially when things go up like gold has. So basically, what he's been following is he's reckoning this cycle that started here in November 2022. He reckons potentially very close to the end of a 5-wave cycle. I know you guys are probably a little bit familiar with Elliott wave analysis. There's that tool, by the way. Just get that out. So he was counting this as a 1, 2, this is a 3, that's a 4, and then this being like a blow off top 5th wave cycle. Now, whether that cycle's done or still needs to make another high, we'll have to watch price action with it. But I also follow or use market
Order
geometry,
filled.
especially pitchforks, quite
Stop
a lot
filled.
when analyzing bigger picture or a larger time frames. In this case, it's just a daily.
Order filled.
But when
Stop filled.
price actually leaves the boundaries of pitchforks, you see we even got, I think it's 150% and minus 150%, what we call warning lines, above and below the actual median lines. So this is your median line, upper median line, low median line. You can see for a long time, price sort of been vibrating around the middle one and act a little bit as a resistance here. And it had a decline here when it hit it the first time, right? The upper median line, it went back to the median line. I think Dr. Alan Andrews always said that the guy that invented the pitchforks, that when price hits an upper or lower median line, is about, I think, an 80% or so chance that price can revert back to your centimeter line, which it did perfectly over there. But then we had this really skyrocketing effect to the upside. And this actually works, what I'm going to show you now, really well with Bitcoin as well, because it can just move extraordinarily fast and a long distance in a very short period of time. So if we currently set on the automatic chart here. Now, if you go to logarithmic, look what happened when price clapped that, what's his name, for the second time around. And this actually the first time on a logarithmic chart that price hit that upper median. And now we're having a very, very strong decline downwards, potentially meaning that could have been the 5th wave. I'm not 100% convinced yet. I mean, but if you look just backwards in time, you can see how well these angles worked as support and resistance all the way to the upside. Even during these little declines, something I like to do is people say, oh, but price hasn't respected, for example, the median line's 100%, but that's just the way market geometry works. Quite often, if you get an area where price overshoots market geometry line, in this case a median line, pulls back again. When it does go the second time around, it typically overshoots the same distance again. And that could act as resistance again. We can just basically extend that. It almost did that 3 times. Well, no, actually, 2 times. But anyway, I don't really follow gold that much. I just thought that was really interesting. Where price is currently probably around about to 3,250. We might get a little bit of support step in here. But if you're dealing with higher time frame charts and price starts slicing below, especially on dailies, and you get daily closes or weekly closes below these lines, then you got a very good chance that price will actually migrate to the next important median line, which could be this one over here, which is currently around 3,057. So the lower we go, and obviously if we do take out this little swing here, 2,964 level, then I think you'll be bang on track to have said that that potentially was the 5th wave completion, being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means that price could pull back a substantial amount back to the downside. So it'd be interesting how price reacts. We could look at these charts again during our future sessions if people want to. But for me, if we break this low here, where this previous proper correction was during this phase to the upside, then that would really tell me, or actually, raise the chances in my mind that price is actually topped in a 5-wave cycle. Not that in the long term, gold's going to go back, to 1,000 whatever. It's not what I'm saying. But that you're then probably going to deal with a much deeper type of correction after especially such a strong bull run to the upside. When we can even count on a minute waves, a beautiful 5-wave move here. 1, A, B, C, 2. We've probably got a leading diagonal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 3rd wave, 4th wave, 5th wave. So very interesting. I'm just saying for those gold bugs that are long gold, maybe just be careful. It's not investment advice, but
Order filled.
It's also very easy to go manipulate your scales and all that sort of stuff. But I found over the years when working with market geometry, especially when you're dealing with these markets that just goes one direction, because we switch to a weekly time frame. I mean, it's just straight up, right? It's just unbelievable. And what goes up must come down. I mean, look at this. Insane. And it's at those stages that it makes sense to use a logarithmic scale. In this case, with market geometry, because it does change the angles of drawing tools that you would have on the chart.
It can change perception, yes.
Really. Exactly. Yeah.
Yes. And one question
sometimes you have to adapt to what's happening. If things don't work like it normally does, then you need to think a little bit out of the box as well.
Stop.
One question for you, Richard. If we go, for example, for US dollar, and we draw the pitchfork for US dollar index, we can see if we take the low and high from the last year and the open price and draw the pitchfork, we are below that area. So if you do that, you see right now, this is the picture. So if you do that right now, we are outside of the pitchfork. What is your experience about the market outside that area?
Something I've been saying here on the dollar for quite some time. I mean, it's that first decline that we've had here.
Order filled.
I was working also in a mentorship role with previous guys until around when I was at 24. This first decline here, really looked to me a lot like a first leg lower, and that we were expecting some sort of correction with a second leg to follow.
Stop filled.
Which obviously then started now here in January again. So then you have to ask yourself the question: Are we dealing with a corrective move here that's actually going to find support sometime?
Order filled.
Then move back up. Obviously, with the current way we are thinking, and I know Howard's also saying the same sort of thing. That he's expecting the dollar index to move way lower. And if that is the case, you've got to ask yourself, zooming back a little bit even more, what
Stop
does all
filled.
this mean? That's why, it's very difficult because a lot of people can have different opinions about market geometry. Elliott wave analysis. That's why I just like to use my pitchforks, and I specifically like to focus on
Order filled.
whether I believe it's a correction, whether I believe maybe I don't have to believe anything. It's as simple as just using the three most prominent anchor points prior to this decline, which was that high, October 22, this first low in July 23, and this lower high, which is obviously now being confirmed, for instance, on the weekly chart, as price actually broke through it, I think 3 weeks ago, below this low. So the three most prominent anchor points, where we at right now, we're at the center median line, which will naturally add as support in this case.
Stop filled.
But if you follow a weekly and you get a close, for example, below that median line, then that indicates prices has more space to move lower. But that's
Order
using
filled.
a standard pitchfork. It's a pitchfork that Alan Andrews been using for ages. And then he had a friend or a colleague, I would say, that joined one of his lectures. I can't remember his name, but his surname was Schiff. He proposed that because, a lot of markets don't really move for a very long time at very steep angles, that instead of starting your center median line, which is this median line here, rather than starting it at the beginning point of where you selected your first anchor point, like in this case over here, right? This actually just dissects midway between your second and your third anchor point, your center median line, from your
Stop filled.
first anchor point. So I can do that. That's why 50% median line, you can see it actually dissects the second and the third anchor point in half, right? So what Schiff said was, if we use a flatter angle,
Order filled.
that will actually work really well for, to deal with markets that's like running a bit sideways, grinding up or down, or whatever the case might be, a little bit better. And
Stop
what he
filled.
does there, and what he proposes to start the actual center median line, rather from the actual beginning point, or the first anchor that you selected, but to swivel it 50% of the way between the range of your first and your second anchor point. So that's where
Nice.
that starts from. Gives you a much flatter angle.
Yes.
You can see we had a little bit of support there. Lasted for 1, 2, 3 weeks. Price broke below it. But in this case, price has
Order
not reached
filled.
that lower median line. So if we go lower and let's say break through that center median line of the standard pitchfork, then this is your next area of support. The low median line of the shift pitchfork. I mean, then you can really go and play around with things and start looking at where do you have Fibonacci ratios. We had a 61.8 as well.
Yes.
Don't know if many people know that. That could also just be a natural support area. If we
Stop
use this
filled.
low over here, very close to that one, prices at that level as well. Not uncommon for price to undershoot these Fibonacci levels by some degree. You wiggle below or above it, but that's how you use
Order
market
filled.
geometry. Well, I use it for quite some time. I'm just saying, I think there's more downside potential on the dollar index. Is this now just a large ABC that's incomplete? And then the dollar is going to gain strength again and go up? Or as some might think, and this is obviously why so many different traders with I would say, analysis methodology that can be quite complicated or subjective in nature, have different opinions. Or is this what we're going to be seeing? And, that sort of thing that people have been talking about the death of the dollar. I think that's just a lot of BS, in my opinion. I don't think the dollar is going to die.
Of course.
But if this is the case, then one has to argue then we're going to get another correction after 5 phases, maybe a combination, whatever. And what follows after initial 5 waves of correction, and then you get a continuation again. And then we're going to see the death of the dollar. I don't know. Don't think so.
Yes.
Or we're just going to muck around here in a sideways consolidation period that the dollar's been doing for ages, you know?
Yes.
Right.
Which I think is also very possible. I mean, look at this was a triangle you've seen over here. Look at these time periods, 2008 until that actually finished 2014.
Stop filled.
Look, these cycles almost match same sort of time period that took. Maybe we just do this again until around about 2028, if the dollar's not dead already, as some people say.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, I've been rambling on a lot about that. I don't know. You know, you get guys that keep their charts, especially like this, trying to figure out exactly what is this? Is this correction? You know, I don't know. I'm more worried about what's going to happen, like tomorrow and the week ahead, and you know, I'm going to have food on the table and that sort of stuff. That's what's going to happen. Everyone's saying, like, 10,
right now.
15 years, I don't know, 5 years
Right,
from now. It's
right.
too long.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, so
That's
I actually
Order
managed to
filled.
just scale out about half of my position size on the crypto trade I had yesterday. If I can share
Yep.
my chart with you guys.
Order filled. Stop filled.
There we go.
Okay, yeah, so I got in here yesterday and had my stop around this area right here. Moved my stop loss into profit, or into a few pips of profit, and this pair, Bitcoin pretty much just skyrocketed yesterday. The 1 hour trend indicators have completely pinched off, so that's my sign to. I feel like I'm still close to the market, where I think it's warranted to scale out some profit. I still think we have overall potential on the larger time frames, so I'm not exiting my full position
Stop
yet.
filled.
It's just I'm willing to take some profit off the table just in case we do reverse completely. But I'm still not convinced, which is why I'm holding half of my position size open right now. But now the only thing I need to do is just wait. You know, this position is completely done with. It's either going to hit my stop or it's going to hit my profit target. I think now this is more of an investment style position, where if it reverses all the way, that's fine as well. But uh, I think right now was a good time to scale out my position size, just looking at how this 1
Order
hour is
filled.
currently developing. But I misspoke on gold earlier, and I wanted to clear that up. So when I was talking about gold, I was actually looking at the XAU against the Aussie dollar. And the reason for that is because the Aussie dollar right now is the most consistent currency in terms of strength in the market. It's the most dominant strength that's out there in the market. You know, if I look at
Order
how much
filled.
if I look at, let's see, come into the Aussie dollar pairs right here, go into the 15-minute chart. Well, not too much stuff here going on. I guess I can't really show something
Stop
that I really
filled.
wanted to show, which is unfortunate. But just taking a look at these charts by themselves, we can see that the biggest mover here, if I go into the 1 hour, has been XAU against the AUD. I mean, in the last hour, what I said we moved about 800 pips, or like 650 pips, that was actually XAU against the Aussie dollar. XAU against the US dollar ended up moving
Order
400,
filled.
450 pips. So just to clear that up, I was looking at the wrong chart. Again, if you got into these trades on gold earlier, man, you are probably jumping for joy right now. I think it's definitely warranted you scale out some profit now, just because we're approaching the end of the main session, and they're kind of starting to pull back. You know, on these 15-minute time frame, on the 15-minute time frame, they're starting to go sideways and lose steam on moving to the downside. Every single pair here that you see on my screen looks exactly the same. I can't tell which is which. They look, the way they're formed and the way they've moved down is exactly the same. You know, that's what you get with consistency in the market. And it's not necessarily the Aussie dollar that's driving the movement or the US dollar that's driving the movement. It's gold itself. XAU against every currency looks the exact same. So that I really like to see that in the consistency there. And it just so happens to be that the Aussie dollar was the strongest currency in the market at this time. So that's why it moved down the most. I think it's if I'm correct, it's about a 2.8% movement since the main session. So it's amazing to see what gold has been doing. I don't know if they're going to continue downward, but I think if you were in a sell position, it's probably a good time to start scaling out your position size and maybe even exit if you want. But
Okay,
you can certainly hold it for longer.
Nandan, just one question. So right now you have a sell order for gold. Am I right?
No, I have no position on gold right now.
Okay. I just want.
Stop filled.
Okay, just want to check.
Yeah, I completely missed the sell order on gold. I was looking at it earlier, and I was thinking, you know, man, I was looking at it actually on at 6 o'clock.
Okay. That was crazy.
Right around here before it made another major drop to the downside.
It was
I was thinking of selling it, but at the same time, it was so
worth
late, and that's when I
buying.
started going into my analysis. So, unfortunate, I missed the move, but it's okay. You know, there's always another move around the corner somewhere, and the way gold has been moving, man, you just have to wait. You know, what's going to happen next with gold? We'll see tomorrow, either in the Asian session today or in the main session tomorrow. These 2% moves have been happening almost daily, so it's pretty awesome to see that. You miss one today, look for tomorrow.
Yes, for sure.
Yes. So, guys, can I show one trick that I wanted to share with you?
Yes, please.
Okay, I just this is something that everyone can do, because you can do that on TradingView platform. So this is something that what I did, I choose some main chart, for example, British pound dollar right now, and what I did, I add comparison, and I compare British pound dollar with euro dollar. So
Damn,
this
what am I doing, man?
red line
I'm all
here
over the place.
is euro dollar.
All right,
And
let's
why I'm doing
figure
this
stuff
is
out.
because always
You know what?
we have
I've
that
got
one
other stuff on
currency
my mind
pair
right now. I'm freaking
is
tired.
leading and other currency pair following, you know. And it's very good when you trade and you know, and you can watch both of currency pairs and see where market is going. So what's happened right now in last, I think, more than 2 months, is that euro dollar started to be a leading
Stuff is
currency
crazy.
pair. One of the best things that show that it's true is that euro dollar just broke several years high and went up, while British pound dollar is right now below the last year high. So you can see that the movements of euro dollar is much bigger. Just before that, I will just show you one thing just to realize is that right now, believe it or not,
any browser that you use,
just a
but
15 minutes,
and once you selected your
we,
printer, you click
went
this
more than
little bar right
60
here that says,
pips
so you
down.
put your IP address right
And
here,
then,
your port
just
number,
several
either
minutes,
4408
50 pips
to
up
Orca Slicer.
for
So once you
euro
have
dollar.
that, go up here, click
So just,
device, and now
so
you should
after
see
the
your
news,
fluid
but it's
interface
not
or your
because of the
main
news,
cell
because
interface,
this happened
depending on
15
which one you
minutes
use.
after that.
And if you scroll
So
down,
what's
you will see your
happened
bed
is
mesh
price
right
went
here.
1.1330,
Depend on which one you
and
use.
then went
Your
50
it says
pips
that
up
connection, and then your port.
38,
You put
and
your
now
printer's
we are
IP address
1350.
right here. You can
So
put
just to show how that is safe. And the other side, British pound dollar is more quiet, and we have maybe 20-30 pips down, something like that, but without so big amplitudes that we can see for euro dollar. So I know that euro dollar is leading, and what's happened? Usually euro dollar, few minutes before, can show you
We're
what
just
can
hoping
happen
for a
British
small
pound dollar if you watch on 5 minute and 1 minute chart. And I will just show this trick that I use very often before the news. So look this. This is the moment before the news.
Small little
The
scalp.
news moment is this here line on the trading view right now 1 and 30. So this is the moment
Did not
that we
give
had the
me
news.
the scalp.
So actually for I think the 45. This is the moment. This is the moment. Sorry. So what's happened here? You can see 15-20 minutes before, British pound dollar start to going up.
Okay.
Look this move. This is the 20 minutes
Order filled.
before the news starting to go up. And euro dollar, which is, you know, more bullish than euro dollar, than British pound dollar, just in that time start to go down. So look this. Euro dollar starting to go down, British dollar starting to go up. In that moment, I already suggest that we can see the drop just after the news. So I'm sure that the PMI was much better for US economy. So imagine that both of them was above 50 or something like that. We could see few minutes spike, but on the end, this bearish move is because the traders want to be bearish. So I'm sure because of, like I said, this month we had a GDP for British pound dollar 5 times better than expected, and market didn't react either 1 pip. So just went in the opposite direction, just continuation of the trend when traders want to go.
I put a trade
so
in on
I
the
just
other
want
one.
to show
Okay.
you this trick, very good on 1 and
I thought it
5
was in the
minutes
sim account.
chart. Actually,
Okay.
you can use, of course, in a larger time frame to see. This is the proof. Look at this. Euro
That's not good, bro. Not
how
good.
its amplitude is much bigger highs when we compare with the market price. So this was the trick, and I hope that
when you use
some of the traders can use this. And please,
It feels like it's gonna go up.
sorry, you know, when you actually compare there, do you use the same scale or separate scale for the new pair that you're dropping on?
yes, we should.
So you're breaking up, Igor. I think we lost him again.
Uh-oh.
He was in a good run there for
I'm
him.
here. Can you see me and hear?
Oh, there you go. He's back.
There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah, you're good. We can hear you.
Stop filled.
Did you get that question, Igor?
I'm here. I didn't hear the question in that moment. I was frozen in a couple seconds. So yes, please.
Is it cold there? No, or what? I'm
Yes,
not
yes.
Igor, sorry. I was asking, when you do the compare, obviously with that button next to the symbol on the top left there, do you when you do add
yes,
any
plus,
currency
yes.
pair or whatever, do you use the same scale or a separate scale when you do that?
Yes. I use the same scale, everything the same. Just
Okay.
pick the asset that I want to compare.
Gotcha.
So it's very good. You can sometimes you can find other things that you want to compare. Sometimes for example, it's very good comparison for strategy if you want to watch Dow Index, NASDAQ, and S&P 500. You know, if you put that on the chart, you can see sometimes how always you have one indices leading. So you just see one day, so 2 indices are bearish, for example, and one is bullish, which is leader. And you see the next day, all 3 are bullish.
Yeah.
And you can enter in position before the others when you see that. So
Yeah.
this can be
You
very good
sometimes
strategy.
see that on the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 as well. I mean, they follow each other perfectly in direction. But you could, for example, sometimes, let's say the NASDAQ was making lower lows, lower highs, lower lows.
Getting your
Let's say it
3D printer's
breaks a
IP
previous
address,
lower
okay?
low,
That's the first thing. You
but
need
then
your
the S&P
little
500
bar right
starts
here
gaining
that says
strength,
connection
or
or
really start
4409
making, you know,
for main
just
cell. Put
momentarily,
your printer's
normally
IP
like
address
in a very
right.
short time window. It does something completely the opposite. then that could also be a clue that the NASDAQ will then, you get into that early because it will then follow the S&P and vice versa. So those are definitely things that do occur because they do have a correlation. But when they have a
Yes.
moment of inverse correlations, typically where you can also get trading opportunities too.
Yes, I think that the best thing is the choppy price moments. For example, when we are bearish, and then in one moment, 1 day or 2 days, there is a choppy market consolidation, and then always one of them will start to go bullish, other will be doji or something like that, and the next day all will go to the sky. So it's very good when we can find that correlation and use that as advantage, as early signs, early trigger for something.
Yeah, guys, I've got nothing happening here at the moment. Things have just been moving sideways a little bit. Again, another boring day.
Order filled.
You guys are obviously very exciting. Nanda, do you have anything
Stop
to show
filled.
there?
Nothing, man. I completely sandbagged it today. I completely missed the major move on gold, so I think after this session I'm just gonna enjoy the rest of my day and then wait for something else to happen tomorrow potentially. But yeah, man, if you got into gold today, good work, good freaking work. Really nice movement on gold today. Really nice movement. I mean, man, if you hit today on gold at the beginning of these movements, you're pretty much done for the year again. For the third time this month. It's amazing. But I see things starting to kind of cool off now, so no trades for me today. I messed it up. But that's okay. Just move on. That's all there is. You miss a trade, you just move on. Another trade is around the corner, so I'll keep my head on a swivel. But yeah, another one thing I wanted to mention was when you have days like this, when you just completely sandbag it, like how I did, find a way to get yourself back to baseline and get refocused, because you can get a little angry, you can get a little FOMO here and there, and it can absolutely wreck your decision-making process moving forward. So find ways to get yourself refocused and get rearmed, reload, dust off, and go out on the attack tomorrow. Just get back to baseline pretty much. So
like I was saying there on gold, Nandan, if that might just be the first leg lower of, let's say, a larger correction.
Absolutely.
Then anticipate that there will be some sort of a bounce, and wait for it. Be patient.
Right.
Don't go kick yourself, especially don't go chase it now, because then at that moment Murphy's law is going to reverse.
Right. Yeah. 100%.
There will always be opportunity.
Right. You miss the move. You miss the move. Just wait for the next one. You got what's the rush? You don't need to rush anything, especially not now. Have a clear mind. Keep calm. And
you were talking about alerts yesterday. Just useful for that as well. At times, if you're not a very patient,
of course, I
trader,
forgot to change this
set
back to
alerts
5.
at levels that you think like, right, if it does give me a retracement, this is a better sort of level that I would be happy to go short. Again, obviously look at your indicators or whatever analysis you use, and then and set them. Just make sure you don't do end of day. It needs to be good to cancel alerts, so that when they do trigger, then you open your screen or look at a different market. Forget about that market for a while. Obviously, maybe check into it now and then, but don't stay glued to the screen all the time. You're just going to frustrate yourself.
Absolutely, yeah. Price alerts, they're a godsend. You can use them for profit taking, mental stops. Get your stop to break even. I use it for all that. I use it for everything. Whether it's to take profit, to move my stop to break even, to get out.
Absolutely.
They're beautiful. So make sure your platform has that. I'm pretty sure every platform has it.
Yes. During the years, even like you can now add alerts to circles. Crazy stuff. You can add, depending on what platform you're using, like angles or trend lines or rays. And before, that never used to be like that. So you got to use that technology to your advantage, right?
it's
I mean,
interesting.
I know
Yeah.
some platforms you can even enter orders when price breaks certain alerts or stuff like
Right.
that, or
Right.
even attach orders to drawing tools and stuff. So things have certainly advanced, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
just now, guys, for example, on this chart that you watch, for example, I just wanted to show the traders that watch this session right now that you can put the chart of the gold and go here and pick economist news, for example, and you can put some fundamentals, for example, and
Oh, wow.
you can put inflation
I didn't know
report and watch
that.
watch the inflation report during the decades and the gold price, what's happened. So it's very good to just learn for some correlations that we can find in the markets. So this is the very good thing that we can use for free in TradingView. So this is just one thing that can be very beneficial. And right now, I just want a little bit very fast just to put, because we're out of time, and
We
just to
still got
say my
5 minutes,
plan.
so please take your time.
Yes, yes, I just want very fast to tell the plan for today, and that is that based on the let me put 1 hour chart for British pound dollar, the first target will be the low that we had. Actually, we can use this low here. It's a 1.3235. So we're just 40 pips from that point, and it was the yesterday low.
All right, I have to
Actually,
do this.
just before the
I guess
midnight
that's
low,
it. I guess we just had
and
a really bad red day today.
we can
I
target
probably shouldn't
today
have
very
traded, even
easily
though
because it's
we
just
knew
40 pips,
all
and
of
there
the
is a chance
craziness
we
that
can
was happening.
reach to this destination.
We knew we
And
weren't
for
doing
euro
well, so
dollar,
good
similar
time.
story. We're
Why
very
would we
close
do
to
that?
that
I have
price.
no idea.
We can touch
You know what I
1.141.
mean?
So this level
We
is
luckily
I think maybe it's
have
40 pips, 30 pips, like for British pound dollar right now. So we can reach, this is the targets, but we can go more bearish today, because if this move continues, so we can see really the new lows here.
something I don't know that
And the
we were able to
market
do this on our
structure
own.
is starting to be very interesting.
Mind,
So if today we get a longer
or if it
bearish
was
candle,
just
2 bearish candles, so it will be very interesting
us
for the next days and everything, to see how market will react. We have a pullback, or maybe
having
we
other
can,
stuff we have to do, like right this second.
maybe it can be a trend shift or something. So it's very interesting.
So
It's very
red day,
and maybe retail
fine.
traders
It
like
is what
when
it is.
we are overbought.